Okay, and welcome back, COSA 30 folks. Professor Almeida here to walk you through Word Guided Project 2-1. Now, it's been a while since you last watched a project walkthrough, so I'm going to take you through the steps very quickly here. As before, if you need to pause to catch up, you do have that pause button, and I'll be right here waiting. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. To begin Word Chapter 2, Guided Project 2-1, simply click on the link in your module, and here's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and download the start file. Keep in mind with other projects, you may have additional files to download. I've already gone ahead and downloaded the start file. It's right here in my downloads folder. Okay, so if you're wondering where your start file went, check your downloads folder first. If you are using Citrix Student Labs, right? Maybe you don't have Microsoft Office 365, and let's say you're using Citrix. Keep in mind that you are confined to within your browser window. So the downloads folder that you see is actually in that virtual machine. Okay, so if you want a copy of your project, you're going to have to store it somewhere like Google Drive or Dropbox, and then you can download it onto your actual computer. Okay, so keep that in mind if you are using Citrix to do this project. Okay, it's not really your computer, and you're going to have to do a little manipulation with Google Drive and Dropbox to get to your actual project files. I recommend saving your project files, by the way. That way, if something happens, you always have a copy with you. Okay. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here. We have the instructions, and as before, you do have 3 attempts. I don't have it listed here at the moment, but you'll see as soon as I turn it in. I strongly recommend printing out the instructions if you can. So you just click on the print download button, find your printer in the list, and then go ahead and choose print. That way you have a checklist in front of you. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. Step 1 is to open up the project file, and if you see the yellow bar across the top indicating that it's in protected view, you just click on enable editing. Okay, so right now I don't have that because I've already downloaded this project and I've already opened it. But you'll see a yellow bar across the top that says protected view. You just click on enable editing. Step 2, don't worry about, okay? You don't need to rename anything. Let's get into step 3. Change the margins of the document, okay? So with this particular project in chapter 2, we are learning how to create a form for contractors seeking insurance coverage. We're going to apply themes, styles, multi-level lists, tab stops, leaders, indents, borders, and shading, and all that good stuff as explained here. Okay, so again, you can see the skills that are covered in this project. And before I get into step 3, quick recap of what you've seen so far in Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. You do have that quick access toolbar in the upper left. You have your title bar, your search bar, your ribbon display options, minimize, maximize, close. Here is the ribbon. You have your ribbon tabs, which behave a lot like a menu. And then you have your ribbon groups, where the specific commands are organized. So for example, home tab font group, you can apply bold, italics, underlining, change your font sizes, apply font colors, and so forth. Down here at the bottom, you have your status bar, and you can navigate to the different pages or conduct a search, as you can see here. And then you have your view options and then your zoom. By the way, this is going to be very similar to your other programs, such as PowerPoint, Excel, and Access. Okay, so do take the time to find out where things are by clicking through the different ribbon tabs. Okay, that's really the only way you're going to get better at this. You can watch videos like this all day, but unless you are actively practicing along, that's how you're going to get better. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and change the margins here. Okay, to recap, step 3, change the margins of the document. Click the page setup launcher, and here they give you the hint, right? Go to the layout tab, page setup group. Take note of the hints that they give you here, because in the guided project, this is where you get your hands-on practice. With the independent project, you're expected to know where things are. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on the page setup launcher. So again, we go to the layout tab, and in the page setup group, here is the launcher. Okay, it's called page setup. All right, this is what it looks like. And let's go ahead and continue. Change the left and right margins to 0.75 inches. Okay, so the left and right margins, we're going to set this to 0.75 inches. And then I'm going to skip over to the right. Okay. And by the way, I know you can change margins using other methods. We're just showing you how to do it using custom margins, or in this case, the page setup dialog box. That's what they call it here. Okay. All right. So with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and check off 3B. Click OK to close the page setup dialog box. We already did that. Let's go to step 4. Change the theme and the theme color of the document. So in the Design tab, Document Formatting group, we're going to click on Themes. Okay, so again, Design tab, Document Formatting group, here it is. Let's choose Themes. You can see the gallery here of the different themes. And by the way, if you move your mouse over the different themes, you're going to get a live preview of what that theme is going to look like. So you don't have to choose. You can get a preview so that you have an idea of how your document's going to look, and then you can commit to whatever theme that we're choosing here. In this case, it's called the integral theme. Okay, so let's go to the drop-down list, and let's find that theme. Okay, here it is, and let's select it. All right, just like that. Click the colors button, still in the document formatting group, and then we're going to choose aspect from the drop-down list. Okay, so here's colors, and then we go down the list to find aspect, the very last item right here. Okay, so this is going to change the colors. Okay, so for example, if you want to change your font color, you'll see that the palette will be different. Okay. All right, so now that we are done, let's check off the boxes and move on to step 5. Okay, before we continue, let's go ahead and save the document. All right, hopefully this was pretty straightforward. And again, if you need to hit that pause button so that you can get caught up, please do so, and I'll be right here. Okay, so take a few moments and get caught up. All right, let's go ahead and continue here. All right, let's take a look at step 5. Step 5, change the font size, paragraph spacing, and line spacing of the entire document. So you can see right away, they give you the keyboard shortcut to select all. Okay, this is what Control A is. It is select all. Okay, other ways to do this, on the left side here in the selection area, you can see how my pointer is inverted. If you click 3 times like this, 1, 2, 3, this is the equivalent of select all. If you go into the ribbon, it's in the Home tab editing group. You choose select, and then there's select all, and then you can see the keyboard shortcut Control A. Okay, so you can use Control A, right, to select all. We're going to change the font size to 11, the line spacing to single, and then the after paragraph spacing to 6 points. So let's take it one at a time here. In the Home tab font group, okay, we don't have our mini toolbar at the moment, but we can go to the Home tab font group and let's change that font size. Again, it is 11 point. Okay. Also, you can see how I'm switching back and forth between my browser and Microsoft Word. This is why you should have the instructions printed out in front of you so that you don't miss anything. Okay, so again, one more time, change that font size to 11. Okay, so that part is done. Let me check one more time. Font size 11. Okay, well, let's just stick with it and see what happens. Change the line spacing to single and then the after paragraph spacing to 6 point. You can find that in the Layout tab. Okay, so before we continue, real quick, Home tab paragraph group, line and paragraph spacing, set this to single or 1.0, and then let's go over to the Layout tab and then I believe the after spacing they said was 6 point. There it is. Okay, so let's set that to 6 point. Okay, why is it not displaying? Let's do this instead. Okay, after, there we go, 6 point. And then line spacing single. So here's another way you could do this, by the way. Okay, that makes better sense. All right, for some reason it's not showing up in here, but you can always go back and check. So for example, if I bring this dialog box up, let's make sure the size is 11. Okay, there you go. Let's go ahead and save. So you saw how there is more than one way to do things here in Microsoft Word. So if you are second guessing yourself, you saw how I went back and double checked using the old school dialog box. Okay. Step 6, apply styles to the selected text. Place the insertion point in the first line of the text, contractor's insurance questionnaire. Okay. So here we go. All right. There's the insertion point. It is in the first line of the text. And then we're going to change the style to title. Okay, let me explain what this is here. Okay, think of these styles. Think of this as like an old school car stereo. Okay, rather than fiddling the tuning knob for a particular radio station to listen to, right? Imagine that you have these buttons numbered, 1 through 5, and you can set certain stations by holding down each button, right? So maybe button number 1 is 93.5, and then the next one is 94.7, and then 98.7, and so forth. What if you could do that in Microsoft Word where, instead of fiddling the tuning knob, or in this case with Word, having to change the font size, the color, every time you're selecting paragraphs, wouldn't it be better to just select that paragraph and in one click make all those changes? Okay, that's what styles does. It's like that radio preset. Okay, so we are in the first line here, contractor's insurance questionnaire, and in the home tab styles group, I'm going to click on more since you can't see everything in the gallery here, and we're going to go ahead and choose the title style. Notice again how you get a live preview. Okay, just like that. Let's go ahead and save our document. Select the second line of the document, please, carefully. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the left side here in the selection area, and with a single click, I select the entire line. Okay, just to quickly review, let me show you a couple of other selection techniques. If I hold down the left button on my mouse, I can scroll down and select multiple lines just like this. Okay, also, this happens to be a paragraph. Okay, so if you double click, right, you end up selecting the entire paragraph, and then you can see my mini toolbar right here. Okay, also, if I double click, this selects a word, triple clicking selects the entire paragraph just like this. Okay, so those are some of the selection techniques. In this case, they want me to select this line here. Please carefully read and understand all questions. Okay, right click the selected text, click styles on the mini toolbar, and select book title from the style gallery. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click, and then again, and you can see that I'm switching back and forth here. Right click on the selected text, click styles on the mini toolbar, and then choose book title from the style gallery. Okay, what are they talking about? So we're going to right click, and here is the mini toolbar. We're going to choose styles, and then one more time, and again I have to go back and look. Okay, it's called book title. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Right click, styles, and then we're going to choose book title. There it is right here. Okay, so just like that, let's go ahead and save the document. Now, in the Home tab font group, we're going to click the Change Case button and select uppercase. Okay, this is assuming we still have this selected here. Right now, based on the style, you could see how it's upper and lowercase. All right, but we want to change it to all uppercase. So again, Home tab font group, we have change case right here, and we're going to change this to uppercase. Okay, this is what it looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and save, and then move on to part F here. Select Applicants Instructions and apply the indent quote style from the style gallery. Okay, if necessary, click the More button as you just saw in the style gallery. Okay, so let's go ahead and select Applicants Instructions. So one click on the left side here, and then Home tab Styles group, and then we're going to choose indent quote. Okay, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Part G, apply the strong style to the 3 words in all caps, all, none, and none in the next paragraph. Please answer all questions. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to double click to select the word all. Now check this out. I'm going to hold down the control key on my keyboard and double click on none, right? And then we're going to do this again for this none. Okay, so you can see all, none, and none are selected or highlighted here. And now what they want us to do is to apply the strong style to the 3 words. Okay, so we go to the Home tab, Styles group, there's strong, and just like that, I saved you a couple of clicks. Okay, see how that worked? And if you need to see that again, go ahead, rewind. That's what's great about these videos. Okay. All right. Last step in step 6. Select Insurance Application Disclaimer on the second page of the document and apply the indent quote style. Okay. So let's go to the second page. I'm going to use the navigation pane here to skip ahead. All right. And one more time, they want us to go to Insurance Application Disclaimer. There it is. Okay, so Insurance Application Disclaimer, apply the indent quote style, and there it is in the gallery. Okay, let's go ahead and save. So that was step 6. Okay, so go ahead and save your document. How are we doing so far? If this video is helping you, smash that like button. If you feel like you're not getting anything out of it, well, you know what to do. Okay, step 7. Let's modify an existing style. Okay, we're going to first display all the styles in the gallery, and we're going to modify indent quote. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Whoops, here we go. All right, here we go. Home tab, Styles group. Click on More, and then we're going to right-click on indent quote and choose Modify. And that brings up the Modify Style dialog box. Let's see what they want us to do here. Okay, we're going to change the font size to 12 point in the formatting area. So first things first, we'll change the font size to 12. Okay, next, click the Format button on the bottom left corner and choose Paragraph. Now, what they're talking about is this. Okay, it looks like a button, but it's really a drop-down menu. Okay, we're going to choose Paragraph, and this brings up the Paragraph dialog box. Now, here's the thing you need to remember. This Paragraph dialog box has to do with the style. Okay, don't get it confused with the Paragraph dialog box you would normally see in the Home tab paragraph group. Okay, that's something entirely different. This particular dialog box has to do with the indent quote style. I hope that makes some sense. Okay, I understand how confusing it might be at first, but stick with me here. Okay, so what do they want us to do with this paragraph dialog box? We're going to change the left and right indent to 0 and then click OK to close the paragraph dialog box. Okay, so left and right here, set this value to 0, just like this. Okay, don't worry if you're missing the inches, it's the same thing. Okay, let me convince you. All right, let me bring this back so that you're convinced. Okay, take a look, see, inches, right? So we click OK, and let's see what's next. Click the Only in this document radio button if it's not already selected to apply the style changes to only this document. Okay, so you can see here it is, only in this document. So we want to make sure that is selected. And then click OK to close the Modify Style dialog box. Okay, let's go ahead and click OK. And let's save our project here. Okay, step 8. Let's add borders and shading to selected text. Select the first 3 paragraphs below Insurance Application Disclaimer on the second page. Okay, so the first 3 paragraphs, here's the first one, here's the second one, and here's the third one. Okay, so you can see how I was holding down the left mouse button and then just dragging, okay, to select all this. All right, click the Borders drop-down arrow in the Home tab paragraph group. Select Borders and Shading. Okay, again, take note of the hints that they are giving you here. Whoops, that's not what I want. We want this one. There we go. Borders and Shading. Okay, that brings up the Borders and Shading dialog box. Select Custom in the Setting area. Okay, so let's choose Custom. So that's first things first. We have Custom selected. Next, select the solid line border, the first option in the style area. Okay, so the first one is selected. Next, click the color drop-down list and select the 5th color in the first row, Orange Accent 1. Okay, here's what they're talking about. We want Orange Accent 1. Notice the tooltip helping you out here. That's what we want. And then next up, let's change the width to 1 point. Okay, change that width to 1 point, just like this. Now, we're not exactly done yet because we need to apply what we selected here to our borders. So we're going to click on the left and the right. Notice how the borders appear in the preview. Okay, that's what they want in part G here. Okay, select paragraph in the apply to area if necessary. You can see it's set to apply to paragraph. Click the options button, and then we're going to change the left and right settings to 5 point. Okay, click options, and then left and right, change this to 5 point. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make the change. Click OK. And next up, click the Shading tab. Okay, and you can see that they've given you a figure here. All right, so take a look at this. Click on the Shading tab, click the Fill drop-down list, and select the 5th color, Orange Accent 1, lighter 80%. Okay, 5th color in the second row, Orange Accent 1, lighter 80%. Okay, so let's click the Shading tab, switch over to the Shading tab, Fill color, and again, it is Orange Accent 1, lighter 80% on the second row. And then click OK to close the Borders and Shading dialog box. All right, so let's go ahead and click OK. And then you can see how the shading's been applied here. And then we have that left and right border. All right, let's make sure we save. Let's go to step 9. Change the paragraph spacing and add a tab stop with an underlined leader to selected text. Okay, one at a time here. Let's select the last 3 lines of text on the second page. Okay, I'm going to use Control End to get me to the end of the document. Okay, you can use Control Home to get to the beginning. All right, so here's the last 3 lines, right? Click the paragraph launcher in the Home or the Layout tab paragraph group. Okay, so you can see the hints here. You can either go to Home tab paragraph group, or you can go to the Layout tab paragraph group. It takes you to the same place. Okay, so you have the paragraph dialog box. Let's go ahead, change that before paragraph spacing to 12 point. Okay, so let's make that adjustment. Change before to 12 point, just like this. Next up, click the tabs button, and let's go through the steps here. So we click on tabs, right? Tab stop position is going to be 7, and it's going to be to the right. All right, so here's how it works. I type 7, alignment right. Let's take a look at leader here. Leader is 4. Okay, so the leader, and you'll see what this looks like in a moment. The leader is basically going to be a bunch of underline marks right here. Okay, you'll see what this looks like in a moment. We're going to choose set. Hold on, let me take a look. Okay, we're going to click on set, and what this does, this sets the tab stop. And then we click on OK, and then we'll get to the end of the name and title of the insured line. Right, so let's go ahead and click OK. And then name and title of the insured line and hit tab. Okay, so here's how it works. Check this out. I hit the tab key, boom, there's your underline, just like that. Okay, repeat step I on the next two lines. So here's how it works. We go to the end of signature of insured, tab. Date of application, tab. Okay, so if you want to quickly create forms for people to sign, this is the best way to do it, right? You set a tab stop, you include the underline leader, okay? It's just basically a bunch of underscores, and there you go. You have a blank line for somebody to sign on, okay? Just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Don't forget to save, by the way. All right, so don't forget to save. You could also use Control S. That works too. Now, step 10. Let's add a multi-level list to selected text and modify the list settings. So let's go back to the first page. Okay, and this is actually going to continue from the first page to the second. All right, select the lines of text beginning with applicant and ending with the last if yes, please explain. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Again, to the left of the margin here, we have the selection area, the selection bar, and then I'm going to go all the way down into the second page. All right, there's the last if yes, please explain. Okay, so you want to make sure all of that is selected. And now in the Home tab paragraph group, we're going to click on the multi-level list button and choose this option here, right? 1AI, little I. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Home tab paragraph group. Okay, make sure this is selected first. Home tab paragraph group, there's the multi-level list. And we're just going to click on the button because this is exactly what we want right here. Okay. Oh, not quite. Let me double check. See, it's with the parentheses. Okay, so be careful. So one more time, drop down. This is what we want. Okay, so again, you saw me almost fall for this. Print out your instructions if you can. Have it in front of you, okay? Because, you know, I even almost fell for that. And that's going to cost you points. And you don't want that to happen on your first attempt, okay? You want to make sure you can maximize the amount of points on your first attempt and then leave the last two attempts to make any necessary corrections, okay? So please be careful with that. Okay. Let's continue. Click the multi-level list button again and select define new multi-level list. All right, so we're not done yet. Let's go ahead and define new multi-level list. And let's see what they want here. Click the set for all levels button. Okay, set for all levels, and that opens this dialog box. Set the bullet number position for the first level to 0. It's already there. Set the text position to 0.3. Okay, 0.3. And of course, you can use these up and down buttons too. That's perfectly fine. And then additional indent will be 0.3 as well. Okay, one more time. You can see I can just use the up button here. So 0, 0.3, 0.3, click OK. And then click OK to close the Set for All Levels dialog box, and then click OK to close the Define New Multi-Level List. Okay, so we're going to choose OK and OK again. All right, so that's been changed. All right, let's keep going. Step 11. Increase indent on selected lines. Click anywhere in the list to deselect. Okay, we've deselected. Place your insertion point in 13 in the numbered list if yes. Okay, let's go find number 13. So scroll up. There's number 13. And again, they are asking us to place the insertion point in 13 in the numbered list. Okay, so let's put the insertion point in 13. And then click the Increase Indent button in the Home tab paragraph group. So you have these two buttons right here. They're called Decrease Indent and Increase Indent. In PowerPoint, it's called something else. Okay, we're going to increase indent just like that. Okay, this line is now letter A. Repeat step B on each of the lines in the list that begin with if yes. The list should display 28 numbered items when you finish this process. Okay, so let's go down and take care of this. So anywhere, again, where it says if yes. Okay, so here we go. 16, for instance. All right, let's increase that indent. Okay, if yes. So keep going until you have 28 items. All right, so let's go ahead and take our break right here. I'm going to go ahead and finish this step and also give you a chance to get caught up, and then we'll keep this video from running too long. All right, so let's go ahead, pause this recording, complete this step. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. How did you do? All right, let's go ahead, take a look here. And you can see that I'm down to 28 items. By the way, if you make a mistake, you mess up, you can always hit undo. All right, so don't forget about that if you make a mistake, especially during this last step. I know this seems to be running a bit long. It is level 2. Okay, we are level 2 now. And you're expected to do a little more here. All right, step 12. Let's change the paragraph spacing on the multi-level list and add a right tab stop with an underlined leader. Let's select the entire multi-level list, and then we'll go from there. So let's go back up to the top. Okay, here's the multi-level list starting with item number 1. Let's go all the way down to 28. Okay, my computer has to think a little bit here. It did not like that very much. All right, so we'll just keep going. I'm going to hold down the control key. Nope, doesn't want to do that. All right, well, let's try that again. So here's something you might end up running into. Okay, in my case, I have a virtual machine here, and it doesn't exactly behave the same way as a real PC, but you know, things do happen sometimes. So we'll just have to do it this way. All right, so showing you that things can happen. You know, this is technology. All right, the multi-level list is selected. All right, as you can see here. And let's go ahead and go back. Click the paragraph launcher in the Home or Layout tab to open the paragraph dialog box. Let's do it from the Home tab this time. So Home tab, paragraph group, boom, there you go. And deselect the don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Okay, it's already been deselected. So we're good there. Let's click on the tabs button. And let's set the tab stop position to 7. And then aligned right. And then we'll choose the underscores here. All right, so align right, underscores, and you could probably guess what we're going to be doing here. All right, we're going to hit set and then OK. And click to the end of the first numbered item and press tab. And we're going to repeat step I on each of the numbered and lettered paragraphs. Okay, so here's another step that's going to take a while. Okay, so let me show you the first ones here. So we go to the end of applicant, tab, right? street, city, state, zip, tab, telephone number, tab. And you're going to be doing this all the way down to step 28. So let's pause again. All right, this is level 2, folks. Right, we're turning up the volume here, and let's go ahead and get this step done. All right, we're back. By the way, a faster way to do this, as soon as you hit tab, hit the down arrow, and then tab, down arrow. But be careful toward the end because there are questions that are several lines, so you might have to hit the down arrow a few times. So that's a quick way to do that. And let me show you the results here. Okay, so here's where we're at. Let me go ahead and save so we don't lose all this. Okay, we've gone pretty far in at this point. And hey, you know what? We're almost done. Okay, we're almost done. We got a couple of more steps here. Let's go to step 14. We're going to insert a manual page break. Okay, place the insertion point before the text in number 22 in the multi-level list, and then we're going to hit Control Enter to insert a page break. Okay, so right here. Okay, the reason for this is because, as you can see, right, part of item 22 is on the next page, and we don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the page break. I'm using Control Enter. Okay, maybe your keyboard says Control Return. So here, item 22 is now on its own page. Okay, so to do that, from the ribbon, okay, it's in the Insert tab, Pages group. There's Page Break. I know it says Control Return, but on your keyboard, it's probably Control Enter. You could also do that from the Layout tab, Breaks, and then there's Page Break. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you could do this. I use the Control Enter technique. So one more time, let me undo this to show you. All right, so here's where my insertion point is, and I'm going to hit Control Enter. Boom. Item 22 is now together on the next page. Okay, so that's how you can do manual page breaks, and this is also why you want to do a manual page break. Step 15. Let's add a page number to the footer of the document. Okay, so the footer is the area at the very bottom. Okay, so imagine the page, right? You have your left and right margins, then you have your top and bottom margins. So the header is in the area that's above the top margin, but still within the left and right. The footer, as you probably guessed, is at the very bottom. Okay, so we're going to add a page number in the footer of the document. Okay, place your insertion point at the beginning of the document or press Control Home. Control Home takes you back to the very beginning. Okay, so here's Control Home, boom, right at the very beginning. So one more time, place your insertion point at the beginning of the document. Click the page number button in the Insert tab, Header and Footer group. Okay, so remember with these hints, take note of them. Insert tab, Header and Footer group. Okay, Insert tab, Header and Footer group. There's page number, but let's hold that thought for a moment because we want bottom of page, and it's called bold numbers 3. Okay, so check this out. Page number, bottom of page, and you want the one that's called bold, bottom of page. Okay, be very careful here. Bold numbers 3. There's bold numbers 3. Boom. Okay, right there in the footer. All right. Click the blank line below the page numbers and press backspace to get rid of that blank line. Okay, this is the blank line they're talking about. Hit backspace, boom, it's gone. And let's go ahead and save that. And let's get out of the footer. Okay, 2 ways to do this, by the way. You can click on Close Header and Footer or just double click back into the body of the document. Okay, 2 ways to do this. All right, make sure you save. All right. And let's continue. View the document in side-to-side page movement, and we're going to go into the View tab, Page Movement Group. Okay, here we go. View tab, Page Movement Group, side-to-side. That's what it looks like. Okay, and then click the vertical button to return to your document. And at this point, we are pretty much done with this project. Okay, so let's go ahead and save. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Okay, so here's a bird's eye view of what your project should look like. Okay, but they do have formatting marks turned on, which might make it a little confusing, but this is pretty much a rough idea of what your project should look like. Okay, let's go back to the top and make sure again you save and close completely out of Word before you upload. Okay, so let's go ahead and upload and let's see how we did here. I'm ready to submit, so that's step 3. Okay, so it's grading right now and we scored 100%. Okay, so if you didn't score 100%, take a look and see what you missed. Okay, go back in this video and see how the steps were done. Okay, and then once you're ready, you can just go ahead, click back on Guided Project 2-1 to go back to the instructions. Okay, if you need to start over, you can always reset progress and clear those check marks. By the way, when you look at previous attempts, you can see there are 3 attempts to this project, and it is the best of 3. Okay, so as before with these guided projects, take note of whatever hints they give you, because if you run into an independent project later on and it's involving the same skill set, you're going to be expected to know how to do certain things. Also, when you're going through training sims, take notes along the way. Okay, you can always go back and access the reading material in the training sims. Okay, but if you forgot to do the training sims and it's already way past the due date, obviously you're not going to get credit. Okay, so you can always go back to the reading to help you out. Watch this video again as needed. Watch how I'm doing the steps, and hopefully you also got 100% following along. Anyway, good luck with this project. Good luck on your independent projects. Good luck with Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, some of the techniques you learned in here, you can also apply them to PowerPoint as well. Okay, PowerPoint is a bit easier, so that's why you haven't really seen any videos. Okay, again, the guided projects, they're pretty much there to walk you through the process. And again, note any hints that they give you. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. It is a little bit more than 42 minutes at this point, but as you saw, there was a lot of steps. There's a couple of things where it's going to take a while to complete, but make sure that you get this project done, turned in, and let's get that 100. All right, folks, good luck. We'll see you around, and take care.